Christopher Nolan came up with the idea for this film 25 years ago. That's longer than I've been alive. Dunkirk is directed by Christopher Nolan. It has a large ensemble cast including Finn Whitehead, and Iron Barnard, I hope I'm pronouncing that name right, Harry Styles, Mark Rylance, Cillian Murphy, Tom Hardy, and Kenneth Branagh. The story is set during the real event in World War II about the evacuation of Dunkirk, and in this film it's really about the perspective of the British troops. I would say the cast does a really good job. No one really stands out, but no one really takes you away from the movie. And I think no one really stood out to me because no one was really going for the bigger perspective here. He wasn't focusing on any particular character, but the event as a whole. The main themes in this movie are survival and desperation, which you really do feel throughout. I think that's thanks to various aspects of the film, including the music, sound mixing, and cinematography. Hans Zimmer does a really good job of the music in this movie, adding to the elements of uneasiness, urgency, desperation, building up tension when it's needed. I would even say that for at least 95% of the movie you can actually hear his music the whole time. And a fun fact I found that I think is really cool is that he got Christopher Nolan's stopwatch and recorded the tick tick ticking and added it to his score. I don't know why, I just find it cool. Then you have the sound mixing, which I think is actually one of the best bits about the movie, and I would actually be kind of surprised if the sound mixing does not get some kind of Oscar recognition. You feel every gunshot, you feel every explosion, and whenever there's a bomber about to appear on the scene, the sound mixing and the music combine really well to make it actually feel like you are there, you feel the desperation, and you feel the uneasiness that every character is feeling. And the cinematography by Hoyt van Hoytema, who also worked with Christopher Nolan on Interstellar, was also really well done. You feel claustrophobic in moments, and I think the nicest shots are in the sky when you have the fighter jets just flying around. You actually feel like you're there in this movie. And I think that's all down to the direction of Christopher Nolan. He really made all the departments in the film, whether that be the lighting, camera, acting, sound, music, they all blend really well together. And you really do notice the theme of survival. There was quite a big problem I had with this movie though, and that was the characters. I felt there was no character development, and there was no one you're really connected to. I get that Nolan was trying to do that in this film. He was trying to show the bigger picture, which he does really well. But there's not really anyone you actually care about specifically, and you feel you can relate to them. You also had the two characters who were the ones you mainly focused on. I felt they were very weak as characters. They were there more for moving the plot on so you could show all the events going on. They kind of bounced place to place. I felt if there's just a little bit of story there, it could have added a lot more depth to that. And you weren't just wondering, why am I following these two guys specifically when there's loads of people everywhere? Why are these two the focus? And my final problem with the movie was with Tom Hardy's character. This might be considered a small spoiler to some people, but personally I don't think it is, because you do see his character in the trailer. I'm just talking about his character. He plays the pilot of the main jet fighter you see in the movie, and I felt like his character wasn't really needed. I think it might have worked better had you just seen the jet fighter come in occasionally from the perspective of the troops on the ground and in the sea, like it was just this legendary pilot that just kept swooping in and doing something that would boost morale for the troops. So yeah, other than the characters, I would say this is a very solid war film. Christopher Nolan does a very good job of showing the wider picture of the evacuation of Dunkirk, but in doing so he didn't focus enough on the characters, and I felt that really hurt the movie. There was no one you really connected to and no one you really latched onto. You were just following event after event after event. I would give Dunkirk a 7 out of 10. Would this movie make my top 10 war films? No, but it was a story that needed to be told. It was executed very well, and it deserves to be seen in cinema, and if you can, in IMAX. So have you seen Dunkirk yet, or are you planning to see it? What did you think of the characters? Comment below what your thoughts were, and let's have some kind of discussion. And while you're here, why not like this video and subscribe so that you can see the next movie review I put up on my channel. Until next time, see ya.